So I never really thought I would start the channel this way, and if you've first time coming across this channel, my name's Luke, or otherwise known as LKE. It's the tag I've been using for many years. If you're smart, it's just the U taken out and it's LKE, and then other friends of mine who had four letters in their name, we did we all did the same thing. So yeah, I come from an era where I was born in 2001, and a lot of the stuff that I kind of grew up with was at that weird intersection of people who were born in the 90s, kind of growing up as well into like the early era of internet computing at home. Gaming was just readily available at any time for anyone, especially growing up with PS2, PS3, obviously PS4 when we got older. And now that I am 24, almost 25, which is just ridiculous to say, I've been doing stuff around kind of content and just being around this kind of world for a while. Um, but I've noticed in probably the past like year or two, loads of people going through this kind of like commentary, nostalgia vibe, and it's something that kind of hit me really, well, it hit me really hard, hit me deep because I come from the same era that people that are feeling the nostalgia, who are probably as well in that same age of like 25 to 30. There's probably some sort of crossover as well. So the crossover as well is something I'm really keen to kind of explore as we do more of these videos, and I get better at kind of talking to Audacity and the camera without really doing anything. Hopefully the gameplay in the background is of interest. Been going through a lot of like RPGs again recently, playing a lot of GTA 4, Cyberpunk, and all that kind of stuff. Like games that really make you feel nostalgic. And this video isn't really like a video to kind of shade like or show like we're going to be doing a lot of nostalgic stuff or talking about stuff, but I just want to kind of position myself in the channel and in the best way possible. I've been seeing a lot of kind of content from more American based creators who are exactly the same as me. They've got a lot of like um childhood memories, I say, from Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, the core like areas of Call of Duty, then the gaming era where if you was there, you just had to kind of, if you were there, you were there. Like if you know, you know, kind of thing. And it's one of those things where it's like I've always watched like X Jaws, White Boy 7th Street, Sea Nanas, all the Optic people, and I just know what it feels like to be, I guess, similar to you guys, where like you're growing up and you're kind of going through this transition period. Like life is getting serious, but you might have built some stuff around your life that doesn't make it as stressy, or maybe it is stressy. I don't know your situation, but I would love to kind of be that position online to have this as like our safe space within the internet, our own corner within the internet where I could just kind of talk about particular things I want to talk about, ideas, points, things that are happening. Like I have a lot of content I've got planned, and if this video kind of sets the tone about what I'm looking to do moving forward, like it is kind of weird sometimes when you're talking to the camera, or talking to the microphone. Like I speak to the camera on the other channel, and that's fine, but when you're speaking to the microphone with no camera and you're just Audacity in front of you and you got the script, it's like, oh, this is a whole different game. So I'm hoping people who are listening and kind of finding some sort of value in just simply just listening from the ramblings of someone who's probably going through a very similar situation to yourself. And I'll give you some context by myself as well, just so like as we kind of do more videos and add more context and more layers to it, things start to make sense. My name's Luke as well. I'm 24, almost 25, and been living in England my entire life. Besides the first 3 years I was in Spain, but I've been living in England, seeing kind of like the change in the world and the things around me just kind of, I wouldn't say even evolving, but evolving, let's just say that to be nice. But I've noticed like a lot of people in and around my space were becoming more disconnected through social media and things just kind of being readily available at any time. And you have the rise of short form content, TikTok, and everything else where everyone's attention spans are really gay and kind of pulled apart, and videos just like these ones are really just bringing it back to kind of the vibes that we all probably felt when we was like 10, 12, mid-teens, let's say, when people are doing these reactionary kind of content, the live commentaries, even post commentaries like this one, where people are just talking about real stuff. And that's the kind of attitude I want to take moving forward, where I'm not going to be a guru by any means, but I would love to be that kind of older, bigger brother, chill voice in the background to help you guys, whether it's just us talking about particular things. Like I have a lot of content where I want to go through some of the things around kind of growing up, the reality of finances and the world, and even like this is really hot because it's been this week, but for example, with Jeffrey Epstein, like, we'll talk about that stuff. Like, how's that impacting people of our age? Where, for example, you're seeing like the backlash of it in the stock market and the crypto markets at the time of recording. It's the 6th of February, but these things are really impacting us and the people that are always the ones that have shaped our world and has said, go to school, go to university and get a job and you'll be happy and all this other stuff. It's not true. Let's just be honest, guys. It isn't true, but we are at a point where that kind of veil is being lifted, and whether it's for the best or worse is another thing. But in the short term, it definitely hurts when you look at like your market stuff and you're looking at your stocks or whatever. But in reality, hopefully in the long run, it makes the earth and the people and humanity become more, I wouldn't even say enlightened, but just connected around the fact like there's people around us who are really kind of pulling the strings, and we're at this age, me primarily, but probably people you watch online or yourself watching this right now, you're thinking, what the hell do I do with myself? What's the plan? What's like the escape plan? Is there a trajectory for doing something that actually contributes something to society, or you're creating your own platform online and actually like helping other people either find themselves or just have somewhere to kind of build a community, talk about particular things and topics? Like, I had this whole Google Docs prepped for this video, and then when I went to sit down and record just now, the Google Doc didn't exist and it like vanished from thin air. I'm just thinking, is someone trying to tell me something? Like, I shouldn't be doing this, but in a reality or in just ill realness, I'm just like, who gives a shit? Like, I'm just gonna sit down, record. I'm doing this ad lib, so this video will be way more like off script in terms of what you're going to come across in my future videos, where we'll sit down, we'll talk about things in more detail, and ideally just spend the time to kind of talk about particular things, put some gaming on the background, just chill and kind of just go through topics, go through nostalgic vibes, go through things that people are talking about, whether it's personal finances, crypto, investing, lifestyle kind of things, where it's like career versus hobby and you're balancing two things you don't know what to do, or dating advice or anything in between. Like, I feel like there's a really big kind of, not gap in what people are doing, but like there isn't someone in the UK who's doing what all the UK people wouldn't do, if that makes sense. Like, everyone in the US is kind of doing the same thing around going through old games, talking about content, talking about nostalgia, going through things that really resonate with people similar to myself. And the one thing that I would love to do is be that guy in the UK, because many people know in the UK, like, there's just this whole tall poppy syndrome where if you're doing something different, immediately it gets like questioned or ostracized, and you're like, nope, can't do that because of this reason, or you shouldn't go chase this. And it's like, I never really listened to those people, but like, you do have those thoughts in the back of your mind, and ultimately it's like, are you going to do the thing? You're going to hit post, you're going to hit record, you're going to edit, you're going to do all these things, and it's like, by a certain point, you get good at these things, and whether or not it's like, you know, people say they do it or don't do it for money. Ultimately, people do it for freedom, which freedom is kind of enabled by money, right? So to say you're not doing it by particular motivation is almost like stupid, right? So not to say I'm doing that myself, because I'm just here to do it. I've got other stuff I have going on in my life, but ideally this is something that you can just kind of come into, talk to people, and then from there you start to build a connection and stuff. Like, you build a community, and over time we'll talk about investing and kind of the things to help people in our age kind of get some sense of independence. I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but it's a way in which you're going to just help other people. And if I could do that and be like, look, right now is a great opportunity to kind of do this, or you should dollar cost average into stocks, or hey, you should probably do this with like your dating life, or whatever the flipping thing's going to be. I just want to kind of create that space, and whether or not this is going to be that space, but I think it will be, because I've always had this channel, well, I had it previously under a different email, a different name, but it's always been LKE. Like, it's always been part of my identity for some reason, like on Steam, on PS5, PS4, PS3, and all the rest of it. Like, it's just been part of my identity. And I know I'm rambling here, and it's probably just going to be like the most real, like, distorted video going to come across from mine, but it's just an intro into myself. And maybe this is probably more reflection of the way things like are mentally right now, but I feel like over time, by speaking and sharing, Other people in the community will open up. Other people in the community will probably say, oh, this is something like I'm really keen to explore, and we'll take it from there. But besides that, I think that will do it for like this first really randomly put together intro video. I'm hoping as well the Cyberpunk footage in the back isn't making you cringe, but it's a great game. It's just fun to drive around, get your katana, go slash people and steal their stuff and sell it and buy stuff with it. It's a game. It is what we do. But anyway, it's been Luke, it's been LKE. Make sure you guys do leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I'll get better at this. I earn better than this on my own channel, but we'll see how things go. Enjoy your day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and we'll see you in the next one. I'll be much more structured. I have a lot more things to talk about in terms of topics. I've got a whole topic list, so annoyingly that Google Docs got deleted. So just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll see you in the next one. Enjoy your time.